lived in Warner since 1985, and it was a good decision to move from Concord to Warner, and we've never regretted it for 1 minute. Currently, I'm president of our 501c3 nonprofit, Main Street Warner, and involved in the bookstore, Main Street Bookends. My role there has always been, since 1998, to vacuum and clean the toilets, and I've readily accepted that. So I'm happy to be involved in Main Street Warner. We put the nonprofit together in 2000, and that was the time when late 1990s we were losing our Main Street. We lost Crescenti's grocery store. We lost Perkins Hardware. We wanted to do more, so we established the nonprofit in 2000. We turned the land over around the bookstore to the nonprofit that now is the Jim Mitchell Community Park and Main Street Warner Stage. And so with our summer concert series there, we attract thousands of people over the course of the summer and early fall. So in 2004, Main Street Warner, the town, George Pelletieri from Pelletieri Landscape Architect, came together, working with Plan New Hampshire, to organize a design charrette. We brought the community together over the course of the weekend. We had over 400 people turn out, and we simply said, what do you want to have happen down at Exit 9? Just a consistent and very vocal statement made that we don't want to lose our Main Street. We don't want to lose Warner to Exit 9. And then Main Street Warner continued to work on its other programs, literacy programs, working with Simon's Elementary School here in town, scholarship programs, and we continue to build from there. But in 2020, just as COVID started to hit, we had the opportunity to purchase one of the oldest buildings in Warner. This is the original Baptist church that was built in 1833. When the Baptists combined with the Congregational Church in 1964, they sold the buildings to the Masons. And so in September 25th, 2020, Main Street Warner was able to purchase the lodge. We got a call from the Masons' realtor saying that they had a cash offer, but they would give us the weekend to see what we could raise. So over the course of the weekend, we raised $100,000. And so we submitted that, not knowing what the other offer was. We later found out that it was a more lucrative offer from a condo developer out of Concord. We didn't know that. But the Masons turned us down. They accepted $95,000. And that tells you a lot about the Masons and their history. They accepted $95,000. They said, this is our first donation to Main Street Warner. They acknowledged at that time, 20-year history of Main Street Warner and the impact that the nonprofit, has had on this community. And we're, this past year, able to start with our renovations. And so we're focused right now on developing a community kitchen and meeting space in the newer part of the building, which was built in 1883. The Masons put the kitchen on in 1976. So we've been concentrating on that, and we've made wonderful progress, significant progress. We're, on schedule to be able to open up the facility this coming fall, 2025. In no small effort to not just the grants. We've never just focused on the grants. We've always depended upon people here in Warner coming forward. I mean, that's how we were able to build the park and construct the stage. So it'll be a wonderful interior space, the community kitchen, the meeting space, and in the main hall, which will be the last to renovate. The 1833 part has beautiful stained glass windows from that time period. There's a wonderful concert organ that was manufactured out of Hook and Hastings Organ Company out of Boston. So, just really excited that the organ, it's a wonderful concert pipe organ. It's in beautiful condition. We've had several concert organists from the area come down and take a look at it. And so, they're very anxious to, start to put that back into use. In terms of fundraising, we're a little over halfway there, and we need to press forward a bit more. But I know the community will come together to make that possible. And what it does is, create this island that is right in the center of the village, and a significant indoor year-round space, but also with the landscaping, it'll create another outside area for people to gather. And, that was always the intention of Main Street Warner. We understood what it takes to build, often rebuild, but to maintain a community. And it's not just retail. It has to be a mix that taps into, certainly the economic aspects, but it also has to connect with the social and the cultural. And so while a project like this has been always important, it's even more important today.